Onstage presents A Christmas Carol, December 1st through 17th. Tickets on sale now at Carmichael's and at onstagewalton.org.
My journey here to George Walton has taken me to both large communities and small, city-bound and rural. But I've never found a community to be so engaged in local education, so I applaud this group for their leadership in that effort. I'd like to first brag a little bit about our graduates. One of the graduation requirements of George Walton is that you are accepted to a college or university. Accordingly, 100% of our graduates were accepted. The acceptances included Harvard and Emory, SCAD, Furman, Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, and the Naval Academy, among others. 40% of our graduating class was accepted to the University of Georgia. 80% of those who applied to Georgia Tech Early Action were admitted. And the school raised about $4 million, just less than $4 million in scholarship money, not including Hope and Zell Miller. As many of you know, George Walton has benefited from steady leadership for nearly three decades. So what do you do when that leadership walks out the door? Well, I can tell you what we did. We engaged in a lot of conversations with students and parents and teachers, and reevaluated the role of our board. And when you do that, the floodgates begin to open, and great ideas just start pouring out. And I'd like to share some of those with you. We began a global studies program this year. So far, we've hosted students from Germany, France, and Spain. We've established partnerships in Spain where our students will go visit later this spring, and in South Africa where our students will go and study this summer. And as we speak, our associate head of school is in China promoting George Walton and looking for appropriate partners and students. Yet as we did all this year, we added several new positions. We added a college counselor. We added the school's first full-time athletic director. We added English, history, and PE teachers. We've added new positions in our communications office and our development office. And those additions have allowed us to introduce significant changes. For example, we've developed a 4-year plan for our high school students as they prepare for the college admissions process. That includes a tour of the Georgia colleges with our freshman class, where they generally stay within state but occasionally will visit schools outside the state. We've added fencing to our athletic program. We're adding middle school lacrosse this year in the spring, and we expect to add riflery in the fall. The new teachers, along with a couple other shifts, have also allowed for new electives in math and English and history and science. And we've grown our art options exponentially. In PE, we created a 2-track program that allows students to choose between life sports and athletic performance. And those courses are taught by certified athletic trainers and a physical therapist. We've added an advisory program for every student from 8th grade through 12th, and next year we'll expand it to 6th through 12th. We've added mentoring for new teachers. We formally introduced a peer tutoring program for before and after school. We created a parent organization called Dogs 360, where we have introduced a 3-fold mission. That is to build community, to ensure every student knows that his or her interest is equally valued and supported, and to meaningfully involve parents in the life and mission of the school. We've introduced a piano lab, and as you know, our school is well known for our music programs. And this band program, our piano lab, now allows for as many as 70 students to be taking piano lessons this year, and some as young as 1st grade. We've looked at our aftercare program and reevaluated its strengths and created a new program we're calling After the Bell, which involves mini courses and camps and available to all of our lower school students. And those mini courses and camps include things like guitar or dance or etiquette. We've increased our professional development budget by 10-fold. In fact, on Monday we shut the school down so that all of the faculty and staff could attend the Georgia Independent School Association's annual conference. We sent teachers to visit schools around Georgia, in New Jersey, in Tennessee, in California, in Virginia, in Washington, D.C. to see what ideas they might bring back and we might introduce to our own community. We've introduced dual enrollment, or Move On or Ready as it's known in Georgia, to take advantage of that, and several of our students have enrolled this year. Next year we'll be offering some of those courses on our own campus. That doesn't come for everything, as we've introduced new software to help with the college admissions process. We've introduced other software to help our students better understand what their strengths lie, where their aptitude is, where their interest is. We've introduced and have funded an annual speaker event that we introduced this year. It was hosted downtown to bring our students back in the evening, which meant that they came and they ate at all the restaurants before. And this year we enjoyed the words of a speaker named Brett Leak. And if you've not heard his story, I recommend you do. He has a compelling story to tell. In addition to over $300,000 of improvements and safety upgrades we've made on campus this year, we secured funding to create a top-tier cross-country course that will encompass the most of our 61 acres on our grounds. We've decided to move forward on renovations for our upper school media center and our cafeteria. As we look to next year, we've established a partnership with Duke University and Johns Hopkins University to do medical service in Belize. We're introducing a winter term where we'll have mini courses, internships, and international travel opportunities for service, cultural enrichment, or to earn academic credit. We're introducing a new schedule that will allow every student in grades 6 through 12 to have a study hall. We're considering adding 8 more APs to our already robust program. And so you may ask, what impact is all this having? Anecdotally, I can tell you that interest in George Walton is up over year to year. I also had 2 families just last week come and tell me that they're moving to Monroe to be closer to the school. One has a house under contract, and one is still looking. So I want to thank you for your time and your attention and your concerns for education. I encourage you to stop by George Walton and visit, spend a day with us, and see all of this in action for yourself. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon. 20 years. That's the anniversary that LCA is celebrating this school year. So think about how old you were 20 years ago. I would venture to say that some of you were in high school. I was not. I was 32 years old when LCA opened. Now I want you to consider your current age and all that has happened in the course of the last 20 years in your own life, personally as well as professionally. Now think about the culture, and specifically education. Have you ever considered how the advances in our culture have shaped the landscape of education over the course of the past 2 decades? I'd love for you to take your phone out. I'm going to ask you a question, and the first one to give me the correct answer gets a $25 Longhorn gift card. You can shout out the answer. You do not have to raise your hand. Okay, you ready? Who was the 15th Vice President of the United States? Seriously.
John Breckenridge.
Nicely done, John Breckenridge. Okay, I have a gift card for you at the end. Isn't it amazing that at the reach of our fingertips is the answer to the most obscure questions that we might have? Google it has become part of our language on a daily basis. Oftentimes it's our go-to for information. 20 years ago, children relied on the classroom teacher for knowledge. They were the keepers of all the things that children needed to know. And today, human interaction is no longer even required for children to access knowledge. Not only do we have Google and smartphones, Siri and Alexa are now on the scene. We don't even have to type our questions any longer. We can simply talk into our phones for information. And I would bet that these newly developed friends are also homework partners to many of our students today. You see, the methods for acquiring knowledge over the course of the past 20 years have changed. So it begs the question, is the acquisition of knowledge really the end goal of education? At LCA, we believe that a true education encompasses so much more than acquisition of facts. Children are learning to view the world through a biblical lens. They're learning to think, to question, to defend their positions, to be curious. They're learning to view decision-making through a lens that asks, is this wise, rather than is this wrong? Those are 2 very different questions. They're learning that leadership looks a lot like serving. They're learning that friendships are oftentimes hard. They're navigating disappointments for not making the team or not being chosen. They're learning about character and integrity and appropriate ways to leverage social media for good and not for harm. They're learning about responsibility by experiencing, dare I say it, failure along the way. All of these aspects of development come within the scope of receiving a true education. We believe there's a larger story that's being written in the heart of every child. They've been birthed for a purpose, and that purpose isn't simply to achieve academic excellence. Don't get me wrong, at LCA, we strive for academic excellence in every content area. We're seeing consistent increases in test scores. We're adding AP and dual enrollment courses annually. We have 2 students noted as National Merit Commended Scholars this year. And last spring, the class of 2017 earned 100% acceptance to UGA. But earning a 4.0 in isolation isn't our goal. We believe that God's called us to foster the spiritual and the social development of the students entrusted to us by like-minded families. I think all of us would agree that children are more than their intellect. They want to be seen and known, to have their strengths recognized, to have their weaknesses shepherded, to belong. They'll always need help from adults to shape and frame the knowledge that they are Googling. After all, knowledge and wisdom are 2 totally different animals. When LCA opened, the mission was and is to prepare students academically, spiritually, and socially for God's call on their lives. The goal was never to be a school that only the wealthy could afford or that only the gifted students could attend. As we grew through the years, however, we became concerned that that's exactly where we were. And so last winter, our trustees made a very strategic decision that's pretty much unheard of in the private school arena. We lowered our tuition rates. We want LCA to be accessible to any Christian family who desires education from a biblical perspective without sacrificing excellence or extracurricular activities. Next fall, we're expanding our educational support services for otherwise qualified students who also have a learning disability. We piloted 2 programs this year that have proven significant strides in addressing the underlying issues of the disability. And as a result of that intervention, we have students who are seeing success in the classroom for the very first time. It's very, very exciting. While much has changed over the course of the last 20 years, there are a few things that have remained the same. At LCA, we still believe that the parents are the primary educators. There's great value in creating a school schedule that fosters family time. We don't want to be a school in which students are experience-rich, but relationally poor. Parents are so busy running children from one experience to the next that there's no time for dinner around the table. And oftentimes, quality time only happens within the context of quantity time. The other thing that hasn't changed for us is our dependence on Jesus. I have a picture that hangs in my office, and we have a picture that we're going to just put it up on the screen. This picture was taken in 1998 when we were given 19 of the 75 acres that we're currently housed on in Loganville. When we were given this property, we borrowed a school bus and we brought our 68 students out to the property, and we simply circled up and prayed for what God was going to do. And so for me, this is a constant reminder of God's faithfulness to us. It was one of the first God stories really along the way. It was an incredible day. We were so excited. But if you had pulled me out of the middle of that circle, first of all, I wore a dress. Why I did that to walk out to a property like that was not wise. But if you had pulled me out of the middle of that circle on that day and said, hey, listen, 18 years from now, you're going to be sitting around a table with your trustees defining gender so that it could be a part of the statement of faith in the school. I would have looked at you like you had 2 heads. Like, what? I would venture to say that there's nobody in the room who saw that coming. But it wasn't a surprise to the Lord. Not on that day, not today, and not what is coming in the future. We're trusting Him to continue to lead us. We've been given a group of students to prepare to be salt and light in a world that desperately needs hope. The past 20 years, I've had the privilege, I've been there all 20 years, of seeing some incredible things happen, some really high highs. But the truth is, I think our best days are still ahead. We have not begun to scratch the surface on all that we see for the future of our students. It's my honor to serve alongside such an incredibly competent and gifted group of educational leaders. The students of Walton County are in good hands in any one of the schools represented today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rita Dickinson. I'm sure many of you in this room know me. I retired from the Walton County Schools, and I guess I just wasn't ready to sit at home. So I decided to open a school that I thought would serve a certain niche in Walton County. I didn't realize I was going to pull children from Morgan County, Gwinnett County, from so far away, even Oconee County, to Monroe. But like I believe George Walton said, I have families that have actually moved to this county to be closer to the school. Monroe Country Day School is what's called a micro school. It is, again, I say a niche school, or you might think of it as a boutique school. It serves just sort of like the clothes that fit me last year do not fit me this year. It's the same. Every child does not fit necessarily a large classroom or a large school setting. We are a small school. When I opened, my plan was to open with 25 students and add 25 students each year till we met full capacity at 125. We opened with 26 last year, and we have 54 that we've opened with this year. So we have surpassed what my goals were. As every school knows, no matter how large or small you are, there's that point where the economy of size, and I've sort of gone through my 5-year plan and picked out what those economy of sizes are. So you can only grow at a certain rate with the amount of space that you have. We have recently bought what was the old Grace Baptist Church, so that we hopefully will move our middle school and high school over to that building if I ever get through the code. And so some of you who have G-Hawk, I will be calling you soon to help me sort of get through those waters. I remember Dr. Burke said to me once that he was going to retire before he had to do another building project. Now I understand why. That might actually send me to retirement. Okay, point if you get to the next. This is my founding board. Most of them have stayed with me. Only a couple have gone off, and a couple come onto the board to help me. I have a very hard-working board. They understand our mission. Because when I opened the school and I said 25 students, I said, this is going to be a breeze. I mean, when I started teaching at Carver, I had 38 kids in a class. I'm like, I could do 25 kids myself. I quickly felt like the 5 teachers I had that I started with were not enough. But you go to the next one. Country Day School is actually a model that comes out of progressive education. Montessori schools came out of that same progressive education model. That model was originally started after the Civil War, basically. Not right after the Civil War, but after people realized that we had sent our brightest and best men off to war and then they were killed off. People weren't so eager to send their kids to military academies or off to private schools anymore. They wanted to keep their children close to them. So the Country Day model was originally sort of for your more wealthy families, because the idea was that these families had domestic servants and the children were not learning how to take care of themselves. They weren't learning the skills that they needed to be good philanthropists and good citizens in the future. So the idea was that you would have a school nearby that would teach the good academic and the good life skills that you would get at a good boarding school, and that's why it's called day school. You can go on. Curriculum, let me see, why now in Monroe? It's the same thing I said. Every model does not fit every student. There's not a school that will speak today that I have not recommended to a family that they check out that a particular school. I listen to the family, what they're looking for with their child, and I will tell them, that isn't going to work here, that's not what we're about. And I will send them on, and I'll suggest who they call to go to find a school that fits their child. Our school is very personalized education. I talk to almost every child every day. I sit down with my teachers weekly. We go over academically and socially where that child is, what we need to be working on. I have to break the news to some parents that I will not be working so concerned about academic progress with their child. I'm going to be more concerned about social progress with their child. and that's what we will concentrate on. So it is a very different personalized education. Country day schools have integrated curriculum. We use it was written by Dr. Hirsch from the University of Virginia. He wrote Cultural Literacy, that if you're an educator, you probably read in graduate school. But the curriculum has social studies and science is integrated into your reading and literature. So they're learning about all their subjects at one time. We teach ag as our life science. They are working in the dirt. They're learning about rocks. They're learning about how things grow. So you don't learn in things in silos. And I know I'm not, because I taught public school and I worked in public school. I love public school. But we still in high school taught. I taught either science or I taught art. I did not integrate with the other teachers because I couldn't. I mean, all the kids in my class had different teachers. They were in different grades. I could not integrate the curriculum. The only other school that uses the curriculum that we use is Oconee Academy at Lake Oconee. That is a charter school. And I've talked about personalized integration. Community service, they have to clean the school themselves. They are responsible for the grounds. They get called in by me if I look at the playground, I see trash on the playground. There's always consequences, and everybody's sort of like, oh. I have to admit, I wrote curriculum and I taught 5th through 12th grade, so I wasn't real familiar with kindergarten and 1st grade when I started. And the first time they sent a kindergartner to me to talk to, I'm sitting at the table looking at this little kid, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't use my normal lectures with this child. So yesterday, a child in 1st grade had said a word he shouldn't say, and they sent him to me, and you know, you face this, and I looked at him, I said, that's a word you can't use till you're 21. When you're working and you're paying your own bills, then that's between you and God. I hope you don't use it then, but that's a 21-year-old word. The teachers all laughed at me. They're like, where did you go? I'm like, hey, I don't know. I'm used to older kids. I'm not used to this kindergarten, 1st grade, but we are accredited. We're accredited by the Georgia Accrediting Commission. I will never be SACS accredited because SACS has certain boxes you have to be in. I'm not getting in those boxes because I have opened this school to be different from what I did for all those years. So I'm not getting back in that box. And we're 8:30, oh, I forgot to change this. We do end at 3 this year because we're going 180 days this year. We have tours every Thursday. It does not matter if you're not planning on putting a child there. I have lots of people who stop by who said they either taught or they went to the Johnston Institute and they just want to look at the school. So our students are used to people coming through. The teachers are used to be opening the door and showing people the school. So any Thursday, if you would like to stop by and see the school, you are welcome. I love it if you call because then I can tell Christy you're going to be there and I can get somebody else to give the tour. You can visit us on Facebook, our website, or again, stop by any Thursday or call Christy Slaughter McDevitt. Many of you probably know Christy. She is our admissions director. That's it. But if you want to know any more, you can just talk to me after this. Thanks.
Good afternoon. I'm Donnie Houston, and I've got grandkids at Trinity, and that's how I get there. How I happen to be one of those volunteers, and I have the distinct problem of never saying no. So that's why you're getting to hear me today up here talking about the school. Christy, I do remember talking to you about 6 years ago when I had these grandchildren that I'm raising, and we decided we were too old to do homeschooling. And so we were looking for a school, and I remember we came out and we talked to LCA at that point in time. But with me today, she won't come up here and talk, but I do have Tammy Moore. Tammy, stand up. Tammy Moore, she founded Trinity 1999 with 6 kids. And then I think it was 6 years ago when we were looking, I had one that was fixed to go into the 8th grade, and so at that point in time, Trinity went to the 8th grade. And she said, "But we're adding a grade each year." Fantastic. I'll make sure that you add a grade each year, because I've got one that's got to continue on. So we started that process, and Michelle Brown, Michelle, you stand up too. Michelle Brown handles the high schoolers, and she also handles the enrollment that we do at Georgia Common. So we started that endeavor, and then in 2011, we bought 9 acres across from Maxie Price Chevrolet, right off of 78 there on Commerce, and then moved in January 2013. We moved into our new 20,000 square foot facility. We had, I think, 140 kids at that point in time. Now we have 250 kids. We've had 2 graduating classes, working on the 3rd. I think we can boast that 100% of our kids are dual enrollment with Georgia Common College, 100% of our seniors. And so we have progressed a long way. In addition to that, we have also just gotten approvals. We are adding a gymnasium. I asked the superintendent today, when it's still going to be here, and he said, "I get told every day tomorrow." So maybe next week we'll have steel start going up. It'll be more visible from 78 as you come by. But we're adding a gymnasium and 15 more classrooms, because currently we're having our high schoolers, we're having to rent facilities across the street of the church to house some of the classes, because we've run out of classroom space. We try to have a total learning experience. The kids are hands-on. They're hands-on with everything. They help at the school. Everybody pitches in, and then also our classroom size. In order to have that really excellent learning experience, our classroom size is 14, and the upper grades is 16. So we're striving to keep that very low classroom size. We think that enhances the learning experience, and that we will produce better, more well-rounded students coming out of the program. We take the kids on trips, the high schoolers especially go on a lot of trips, and as you can see there, we've been to Gettysburg and Pennsylvania, and we've been to Jekyll Island, and last year they went to Costa Rica. And during these trips, they're always, like when we were in Pennsylvania, we actually went out and to the Amish community, and we actually went out and we had dinner at an Amish farm, and the kids got to ask them any questions that they wanted to, like, how do you live without a cell phone? Those kind of really important questions. And then they went to Costa Rica, and each one of these trips is tied to missions, because we're faith-based, so it is tied to missions. And so there's something that is happening in each one of the trips where they're getting a hands-on learning experience again. I didn't get to go on the Costa Rica trip. My granddaughter told me that I couldn't go, that I'd probably fall and break something, because when we were in Gettysburg on the battlefield, I fell and broke my foot, and I was down for 6 months. So that was, but that's something. And I think this year they're going to New York, and they're going to be working with an inner city group there while they're in New York this year. Okay, that's some more pictures of our groups on the various trips. And then like I said, we're very hands-on. They are always having something to do. And I know someone said about the learning experience about failure. Well, that's how you learn. That's how we learn in business, is we learn through failure. So I think that is really good. It is a lot more than just textbook learning. We have, as I said, we're very faith-based. We're a non-denominational Christian school. Our curriculum is faith-based also, and we have our start every morning with prayer, and then they have praise. The elementary schools have praise and worships. The high school does too, and in fact, the high school runs some of those praise and worships. So that's really good. Tammy loves animals. When we built the building, we had a 1,000-gallon aquarium to go in the media room's wall, and it has predators in it. We have sharks and lionfish and all in this 1,000-gallon tank. It was an experience getting that tank into place. It's very, those things are really heavy. But as she's got up on the slide there, we've got 31 animals. We actually have a room dedicated to the various types of animals. We've got a touch tank for the kids, and they love it. They can go and they can pick up a starfish and actually touch some of the sea creatures that are there. We also have a guy. Let's see, there he is on the bottom left there. That's Rex. Okay, Rex is a 110-pound tortoise. He's 38, 39 years old. And then we've got 2 baby Rexes that will grow up to be big one day too. But he has free out of the school. He can wander around the school and the kids. I think it was last Christmas before last. I went out there one day, and here comes Rex down the hall. He's got Christmas lights on. So he is quite unique. Next slide. We've got a sports program, and being a young school and having few students in our high school area at this point in time, sports are a challenge. Our basketball team this year, our volleyball team this year, the girls volleyball team. My granddaughter was the only senior that was on the girls varsity ball team, and we had 8th graders playing up on the varsity. So we have a unique thing there, but we did finish 3rd. So that was also a very plus for us. And we've got the same issue with our basketball. So we've got volleyball, we've got basketball that we're currently doing. We're hoping that we can add softball and maybe cross country. We're working on a ball field on the other side of the school from where the gym is being done. So the sports is a growing process. We're trying to get it done. We've got an athletic association, and they are very active and support the sports totally. And this is where I was talking about that we were growing. They actually did finally break ground. It's always an opportunity. The mayor is here, and we appreciate his assistance in all this process to get this new gymnasium underway. But in March, hopefully we will have this gymnasium finished, and so for next school year, it will be a totally different experience for our kids, because now we have to go to a church, a couple of churches that we rent facilities from to practice, and so therefore their practices are limited. And we go play, we play somebody like Peachtree, who has a beautiful facility down there, and those kids every day go out there and shoot basketball every day, and that's a whole lot of difference from when we can only get a gym between 4 and 6, a few times a week. So now that we'll have a gym, that will also help our kids to improve the sports. One thing that is it just made me feel good, is I had last season, I had a coach from one of the other teams that we played to come up to me after the game and say, y'all's kids are the best, most polite team that we play. And that made me feel good. That meant that the school is doing something right. We're teaching them sportsmanship, and whether we win or whether we lose by major points, like in some schools that we play, we lose by major points. They still come off with a smile, they don't get upset about it, and it's a learning experience. They're there to honor God, and they're there to learn how to play the game. Was that the last one? I can't remember. Yep, that was the last one. So, just to say, speaking of it from a parent standpoint, because I've had these grandchildren for 9 years, but speaking of it from a parent standpoint, Trinity is doing a good job, as does all the other schools that have opened today. Everybody is doing a great job. These kids are our future. They're going to be the guys sitting out there where y'all are sitting in the not too distant future. And it is very, very important that they get a quality education and they get the reality of life. They get to understand and learn what life is really about. The projects that the winners had today, they were great. That is such an encouragement to see that happening. That people are participating, they're hands-on, and we're looking forward to the growth of Trinity over the next year. We've got to fill up those 15 other classrooms so that we can go to the next phase. But we do appreciate your time today.
Hey everybody, I'm Eli. I'm one of the technicians at Monroe Veterinary Clinic, and I'm going to go over just some guidelines to keep your pets safe over the holidays, especially with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. It's really important that they stick to their regular diet because pretty much every Thanksgiving food, aside from canned, unseasoned green beans, can cause pancreatitis and other health issues in your dog, which are extremely dangerous and can even be fatal. And especially talking about the proteins we usually eat, being ham and turkey, because they're so fatty and so salty, they run a higher risk of causing pancreatitis in our pets. And especially things, if you think of dressing or stuffing or gravy, there's really not a single food that we eat at Thanksgiving that's safe for our pets. And this is coming from myself, who has a dog with horrible food allergies and a very sensitive stomach. And it'll cause, they can vomit, they can have diarrhea, and then you have to bring them up here to us. And as much as we love seeing all you guys, we don't want to have to see them for that. So what I do at my house for Thanksgiving is I keep a little cup or a little bowl of either whatever my dog's food is, a treat that I know they really like, or just canned, plain, low sodium green beans. And if they're gonna beg at the table and you don't keep them crated away from everybody, those are the 3 things that I typically recommend having out for your pets, and not just handing them bones, which can cause all sorts of GI tract upset and problems. And then another thing that we see a lot here and that I've seen at other clinics where I've worked is pets coming in that have gotten in fights with relatives' pets. Because when your pet's at home and you have a bunch of people there, it's already stressed out, and if you throw another dog or another cat into the mix, they may get protective, especially because there's lots of food that they want to eat around. They want to protect you guys, and they might get in little scuffles with your family's pets. So those are just some little quick tips for y'all. And I've had problems with a lot of that stuff, so I'm just trying to help everybody else avoid the mistakes that I've made. And if you do, God forbid, have any problems, our phone number is 770-267-3690, and we're located at 823 East Spring Street in Monroe. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kenny Sargent with Keep Walton Beautiful in the Walton County Recycling Center. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Also wanted to thank everyone that came out to the center on November the 11th for our America Recycles Day paint collection and flag collection event. We had a pretty good turnout. We were happy with it. We just got the numbers back in, and total we had 447 gallons of paint brought in. And just a few flags. So the flags were down a little bit, but we did have have quite a bit of paint. We think we had about between 50 and 60, around 50 cars that came in for the paint collection. So I did want to thank all of those people, and to remind everyone that we do plan on doing the paint again. It seems to be an event that most of our citizens are behind, and they always encourage us to make sure we continue to do it. So we do plan to do that. And with the flags were down a little bit this year, but we kind of just wanted to get it out there so people would know that we now have a flag box here. And when your flags at home start getting a little withered and weathered on the flags, that you can bring those here to be properly taken care of by our local scouts. They do flag burning ceremonies, and they'll be collecting all of our flags. When we fill up the box, we'll call them. They'll come out and get it. I think they do 2 or 3 ceremonies every year. So you can, rest assured that those are being taken care of the way they're supposed to be, in a respectful way. And that's kind of why we did that, just to let everyone know that now we are a place that those can be brought. So again, thank you all for coming out. We will be probably a little quiet on the event side of things until we get on into spring, and we'll start looking at our document destruction event again. But in the meantime, while it is winter, I did want to remind everyone that your leaves and your yard waste needs to go to an inert landfill. We do not accept that here. We still have quite a few cars that come by pretty much every day that are wanting to get rid of those materials, and we're having to send them on down the road. If you're looking for somewhere that does accept those, we have several different locations within the county. We have all of those numbers here. We'd be happy to direct you to the nearest one to you. So give us a call, 770-267-1421. And that's also the number to call us with any other questions you have concerning environmental concerns or recycling. Like I always do on here, if you're not recycling, it's a good time to start. If we all knew just how much of our waste was being landfilled every day, and that half of that waste is completely recyclable items, you would be amazed. And that was really what our America Recycles Day is November the 15th every year. And we like to try to take the time out to talk to our citizens about recycling and why it's important. And it's kind of hard to do that on a small little TV spot, but we try sometimes. We wish you'd come out and see us or give us a call, and we can talk more about it. We can help you get started recycling and on how to do it. And that's why we're here, and it's what we're trying to do. So give us a call. Come down, see the place, see what we're doing here, and we'd be happy to help you in any way we can. Until next time, take care.
Hi, welcome to the Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. Right now we have our Christmas gift shop, our holiday gift shop, all kinds of things from our artist members, thousands of items for sale, from fine art to prints, jewelry, candles, just fabulous gifts. We also, new in our shop is our book nook, which features our local authors. We've got a nice sofa for you to sit a spell and enjoy our books. Take a look and you might find a new local author that you love. And those would make a great gift, along with some organic tea and one of our mugs. What a great gift that would be for a book lover. New in our shop is our ornament. This was created by Emily Gray at Loganville High School. And this is actually on one of these porcelain ornaments is on the governor's tree. All the counties in Georgia were asked to present an ornament representing their county, and this was Walton County's. So we have a few of these still available for sale, and Emily's name, Loganville High School, is on the back as well. And it's a beautiful sketch of the historic courthouse. On December 2nd, we have a paint and pizza party for kids. That's a Saturday for a couple of hours. You can come, drop your kids off, and then go shop downtown, spend a few minutes in here browsing, and just have a nice couple of hours to yourself. You can visit us online at monroewaltonarts.org. Our phone number is 770-207-8937. We have special holiday hours. We're open on Thursdays late until 8 o'clock. So all through November and December. So come visit us, give us a call, come browse, take a class, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Hi, this is Jody Johnson. I'm here with the Recreation Report. Glad to report our basketball season is underway. Practices, for the most part, have finished up, and our season started this past Monday. Around the 13th or so, we started practicing, and we'll have games up until Thanksgiving. We'll take the break off and play another week or so before the Christmas break. Come back when the kids go back to school in January, and we'll run through about mid-February with our season. So about 1,000, about 11 to 1,200 kids play in basketball this season. We play out of 6 different gyms. We play out of the 2 at Meridian Park at West Walton, the gym at Felker, the 2 gyms at Nowell Recreation Center, and then the 1 gym down in Social Circle. We play at Social Circle Elementary School. We are still working on one of the gyms at Nowell. I know we talked about that last show, and we believe that it will be completed by the end of Thanksgiving. So the week after Thanksgiving, we'll get into the new gym. We've already done a lot of new painting on the ceiling and on the walls, added some new accent colors and got it nice and clean, and then the new floor will go in and should get many years of good activity out of that new gym down at Nowell near the library. Other activities going on. Our all-star football teams are gearing up to play this season. Several of them, our 12-year-old out of Loganville is going up to Dahlonega to play in a bowl there, and then we have several of the teams that are going to Locust Grove to play in a football tournament in the Locust Grove area. So good luck to all the all-star teams this season. I'm sure they'll represent Walton County real well. I'll be sure to let you know the results of their tournament on our next show. With that being said, our basketball season started, so we're gearing up for a new registration. Our largest spring registration is coming up once kids get back into school in January. Flyers will be going out in the Wednesday folders for your child here in the next week. And the registration for baseball and softball, spring soccer, and track and field will be going out soon. So make sure you don't miss that. And there's limited space available. We do it for an entire week. We'll register for all of our spring sports. So be sure to let your child, grandchild, neighbor, friend, let them know about the sports registration. Hopefully you won't miss. Always looking for good role models. We need volunteers. We'll help you. We'll help you learn the sport by finding you maybe an assistant or 2 to help you out. But we're looking for good role models that want to make an impact in the children's life of Walton County. And as always, we have our community centers there up and running with some great programs, a lot of good equipment that's there for you to get in shape and stay fit and have a healthy lifestyle. Go to our website at waltoncountyga.gov. We have a lot of programs there that are highlighted on our website. We also have some parks near you on these nice winter days when the temperature rises enough to be able to get outside. We encourage you to do that and go to several of our outdoor walking tracks or pavilions to get that exercise. So and to recreate. So until next time, we always want to end our show with the reminder that sportsmanship starts at home. So please help us out with that. Thank you very much.
Hello, Walton County. This is Kevin Little with the Chairman's Report for Walton Entertainment on Channel 17 and Channel 18.2 on Monroe Utilities.
Today I want to talk to you about several events and several things that's going to be taking place over the next little while here in Walton County. Some of you may or may not know 1818 was when Walton County was founded, and 2018 will be coming up next year, so it'll be Walton County's bicentennial. Walton County was carved out of Jackson County back in 1818, and Gwinnett County was as well. And so we're planning a whole year of festive events throughout the county, so be watching on here, on the TV, and be watching on the web, and be watching around. We're going to be doing some advertising. We got some things starting in January. We're going to be getting a proclamation done at the state capitol through some of our representatives, and they're talking about possibly doing a run walk with that from the state capitol to Walton County, and then carrying it around to all the cities and within Walton County. So that's some of the things. We're looking at a major big event in July for the fireworks and concert for the 4th of July. And then December 15th, 2018 is the actual 200th birthday of Walton County, and we're looking for a very large celebration here somewhere around downtown near the historic courthouse. So that's something to be looking forward to in 2018. We're very excited about that. I was only 10 back in 1976 when the country was bicentennial. I remember what everybody was talking, and that was very interesting. So it's going to be an honor to be able to be living and be a part of Walton County's bicentennial. Also, I did have a Board of Health meeting yesterday, which is the State of Georgia Board of Health, and some of the things you may have been seeing in the news is the opioid epidemic that is sweeping over really the southeast more than it is the whole country. But some alarming things is that the deaths from opiate and drug use is almost equal to the car crash deaths, and that's very, very heartfelt, because car crashes sometimes are accidents, some kind or not, but the drug use is something that could be controlled or something that could be worked on. And so something that we all really need to open our eyes to is the abuse of prescription drugs, the abuse of any type of illegal drugs. And so it's detriment to our children, it's detriment to our future, the future of Walton County and the future of Georgia as well as America, because the abuse of drugs, it don't get you anywhere as far as any kind of production in society. So that did concern me, and Georgia is ranked up fairly high in the country on that, but most of the states in the South are, for some unknown reason. I don't know exactly why, but they are up there. And so please be aware of that and watch that on the news. And I think you will see some action taken this year in the Georgia legislature as they go back in January to start a new legislative session. There's going to be some restriction on some of the doctors and restrictions on some of the pep pills where the prescriptions can just be easily gotten from out there. So it's concern for the well-being of Walton County and the children and the citizens that are out there. You may have been monitoring, Walton County did a wage and market study for our county employees. In times of good, people don't want to work for a government, and in times of bad, everybody wants to work for government because it's a stable income. Well, we're transitioning from the bad to the good now, and so we've got a lot of good employees working for Walton County, and so we've enacted a wage and market study, which is complete, which brings Walton County positions that work for Walton County up to whatever the market level is for counties that are our size, our population, and in the proximity to Atlanta. And so, and what that does is that gives us a fair market range to hire our employees. They took 11 different counties in and around our area, and so if a county employee is upset with what this comes back at, if they market their sales to any counties close to us, the wage there is going to be very close to what Walton County is. So you have to look beyond the wage itself into the benefits and other things if you're going to go take another job somewhere else. So we're very happy to have this wage and market study in. We hope to enact it in January, and we feel like we have the money to take care of it going forward, and we'll be able to keep quality citizens, quality employees here working for you, the citizen, to provide the needs and the services that you so desperately need. I introduced you last time to Diane Baggett, our Public Information Officer. I hope you will be aware and watching, as we're going to be promoting a lot of stuff on Walton County over the next few years and the next few months. It'll be up and going. So I'll be updating you again on that. But if you have any questions or concerns, please give me a call at 770-267-1316. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in again. We're going to show you some of the dogs and cats that are here at Walton County Animal Control. You know, we might notice there's not a whole lot of dogs and cats this go around, which we'll take that. That's a good thing. That means that intake of new animals is kind of low and the adoption and rescues are a little bit higher. So we love it when things slow down. It means there aren't as many animals in danger. But you know, you're watching this and you're wondering what we have at the shelter. Don't forget about our website. You know, everyone loves to shop online now. Well, we've had waltonpets.net going for a while. When you go there and you click on the adoptables page, you'll see full listings with photos, descriptions, evaluations, all the medications that have been given to each of the dogs and cats that are here in the shelter. You know, we don't show a lot of the cats on TV because we're kind of afraid one might run off while we're getting them on film, but those cats are also posted on waltonpets.net. So if you're looking for a new pet to bring into the home for the holiday season, don't forget about window shopping at waltonpets.net. We don't have any Black Friday sales because our adoptions are always a low $40. $40 not only gets you the animal, but they're heartworm tested, vaccinated, dewormed, flea medicine, all kinds of stuff, which probably cost you up to about $250 at a veterinarian. So you're looking to add a new pet, don't forget about your local animal shelter, and you can shop online at waltonpets.net. Now we'll show you some of the dogs that are here in the kennel.
We have a female. She's like a Rottie Hound mix. She's probably about 2 years old, very sweet and walks good on a leash. Needs a home fast.
We have a female beagle. She's probably 3 or 4 years old. Really sweet. Right now we're starting to get a lot of beagles in, I guess due to hunting season. So if you're missing beagles, please contact us. We've got 3 in the shelter right now. She's a really sweet dog.
This is Woody. He's a 3-year-old German Shepherd mix. He was found on Main Street in Jersey, and he is heartworm negative and ready to be adopted today.
This is a 2-year-old mixed breed male. He was brought in from Walnut Drive. He's super friendly, just looking for a good home.
On Stage presents A Christmas Carol, December 1st through 17th. Tickets on sale now at Carmichael's and at onstagewalton.org.
Where do you come alive? A stadium, lecture hall, a music hall, church potluck? This year, you have a new spot, walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.
To my body's dust, till my soul is no more. I will love you, love you. Till the sun starts to cry and the moon turns to rust. I will love you.
What's the worst that can happen?